Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of Press YYZ, your favorite Canadian gaming podcast that you catch here live on Twitch every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, as well as on podcast services and YouTube every single Thursday. I'm your host for tonight, Mr. Mitch George, joined, as always, well, not always, thank God he's back, Alexander Cozy Kozina, because last week, my God, you have a rodeo back there that you take care of every week, Cozy, and I appreciate it when you're here, especially when you're not.
I appreciate you appreciating me, and I'll say that much.
We've got our ginger hair delight. God, I can't talk tonight. AJ Fraser.
The beard is ginger, but the hair is very, very blonde. I don't know how well that shows up on camera, but it's different. It's not the same, and it's all natural, baby.
The man of very little hair, but very many opinions, Mr. Nathan McInerney.
Yo, Halo #1 superfan in the house.
I mean, Alex couldn't be with us, so we had to have our other resident Halo fanatic.
Yeah, that's totally Nathan.
Speaking of Alex not being here, we've been able to fill that chair momentarily with a man with great taste in pizza and poor taste in hockey teams, Mr. Court Lalonde.
How's
How you doing, Court?
I'm good.
I had that. I'm hosting tonight only so I could do that.
Hey, it's
so
okay.
The rest of the show is going to be a nightmare. It's fine.
Boston's up 4-1 right now over Buffalo. I know Buffalo is a trash hockey club. I'm well aware, but I'm taking the W. I'm taking the W in my mind right now.
You should. I take it every time the Leafs play them. Before we get started in earnest, a reminder as always that Press YYZ stands against discrimination of any kind. While we appreciate however you choose to give back to our show, whether that be a follow, a sub, whatever the things you click and do the things, there's no better way to support us and what we're doing here than by being great to each other. A little bit of housekeeping before we get into it. Nathan streaming Forza tomorrow? Probably?
Yeah. Just quick opinion. We can get into it later, but should I stream just a night of Eliminator or me trying to get the weekly challenges done as they respawn tomorrow?
Weekly challenges.
Weekly challenges?
Way more fun to watch.
All right. What I forgot was happening because we committed to this on our Extra Life stream. Next Tuesday, November 30th, is the release date of the Spider-Man DLC for Marvel's Avengers.
Well, I guess I know what I'm streaming next Tuesday.
You mean the character? Just the character? Like we call it the DLC.
What I want to say is that there really isn't any content to that other than Spider-Man. If we wanted to draw a mulligan here and do group Halo night, I would be more than okay with doing that rather than playing Marvel's Avengers at this point. And we'll get into why a little later in the show.
What a twist from where you were this time last year. Holy shit.
World's #1 Avengers apologist.
Yeah. I will say, I truthfully am down to do anything. I've been quite enjoying Halo, as we'll get into it. I do also want to show just the slightest bit of sympathy towards Avengers, but the call is everyone else's.
I'll pour one out on Twitter for Marvel's Avengers, but I don't see that Spider-Man drop being enough to warrant us doing a whole stream of it.
We'll put it to a poll.
I will be on for Halo, just for the record, because I cannot stream next Thursday because I will be away for work. So if we want to jump in for Halo, I will be in for that.
I can maybe take the Thursday slot next week. We'll talk about that. But
okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking for next Tuesday. But we'll talk about that. But expect more Halo with the boys very shortly on your favorite Canadian podcast / gaming streaming channel that airs mostly on Wednesdays. And we will soon come at you with the promised 12-hour live stream in December for Extra Life that we did get to the threshold in our first one. So we're going to come at you with that. Dates TBD. I think we have it down to a couple of weekends. So hopefully by next show, we'll know exactly when that's going to be, as well as more end of year content. We're going to get our Game of the Year stuff going. It's going to be a hoot and a half. But for now, we don't really have a topic this week, so we're just going to talk about the stuff we've been doing. But before we get to that, Court, you want to tell everyone what you're all about, why you're here, why we like you so much, what you do? I see Matt's with us as well in chat form, and we appreciate that so very much.
So I'm a host of a couple podcasts and a YouTube show. I host a podcast called Three Dads and a Console, where it's myself, Pez, and Waba, and we discuss video games, old video games, kids, sports, pretty much a whole lot of things, and we discuss it from a perspective of a parent that can't keep up to date with the latest video game news. And then
I do want to say, though, before we get off Three Dads, thank you preemptively to Waba and Pez for lending you to us tonight, because I know normally you record on Wednesdays.
These are facts.
Thank God it's Thanksgiving in the U.S. because otherwise we wouldn't have you here, and we're glad to have you.
Slackers. Let's just say that.
Did you
Slackers.
take Thanksgiving off when we
No.
had our Canadian Thanksgiving?
No.
Slackers.
But ours is a
That's what I'm
Monday.
saying.
Theirs is like a week and a half thing
Yeah, that's
with
fair.
turkey and in-laws.
Yeah, because it's
and
not
all
even
like-
till tomorrow. They're just slackers. Come on.
So I
slackers.
realized I need to be on call for work for 23 hours on Sunday, so that'll be fun. But
Oof,
I was going to
sounds
watch
terrible.
football all day, but now I'm realizing, oh wait, it's American Thanksgiving, so I don't get to watch football all day on Sunday because a lot of it is tomorrow.
Ugh.
I'll just
So-
have to play more Halo and Pokemon. Oh, woe is me.
Oh,
Yeah.
darn.
Sounds like fun. So I also do a daily Xbox news show with one of the busiest guys I know, Mr. Matt Midwood, from Assemble. He doesn't stop. He's the best editor I've ever seen. And if you want your daily Xbox news, we're Canadian. Go to Assemble XP on YouTube. You can find us, and you will get daily Xbox news that, according to the comments, looks very professional.
I'm going to say I think Matt's content got me back into professional wrestling to an extent. AEW over WWE any day of the week, and I will live by that because I had the opportunity to watch Survivor Series and said no and would rather wait for the next AEW pay-per-view. That
That's the way
being
to do
said, Matt's content around wrestling and now with you joining him and doing the Xbox content is part of the reason why I'm feeling more invested in the Xbox ecosystem than I ever had. I've talked previously, the only other Xbox I've owned before my Series X was a 360 that I got very late in the generation. It's only a handful of games I played there with friends, but I've been digging everything Microsoft's been doing this year, especially. I think this year from Microsoft is bigger than the year PlayStation had when they released God of War and Spider-Man.
For engagement, I know Nathan's got an opinion like it's nobody's business.
If you want to hear our opinions on the matter, go back and listen to episode 90 of Press YYZ because we got quite into it.
I think I was on that one though.
No, you weren't. It was your question.
Exactly.
It was my I gave you the idea, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out. Y'all have fun.
I would say
we
that
answered it.
God of War, that year with God of War and everything else was phenomenal. I would think that Xbox's branding this year has been better. I would use that a different way of spinning a way to talk about it. The way Xbox has kept himself in the news on a positive manner, on a regular, as someone who covers it on a daily basis, I have been no short of content, and we all get the other emails from a friend of the show, TJ, and PlayStation doesn't have the same beats this year.
No.
They started out strong, but then they stumbled out of the gates, and then they continued that stumble. And instead of taking the goodwill that they had from the PlayStation 4 and going into the PlayStation 5, they did the opposite. And Xbox has been able to capitalize and just hit these great fun things. The Xbox has been fun. That's the better way to describe it. Xbox has been more fun this year than any console in a really long time.
I think the other thing too is we can't discount the impact that COVID had on PlayStation and their studios.
Yep.
They feel like even though Xbox continues to make the acquisitions they do, PlayStation feels like a much more global set of studios, and I feel like that, like the international nature of PlayStation Studios, probably limited them more than a lot of the studios that Microsoft has under their belt.
Yep.
I think they just had more in the pipeline for probably last year that ended up getting bumped to this year. Halo being a key example, which we'll talk about.
They also were very lucky to have Game Pass in a time where people couldn't leave their house. They had a thing where, hey, everybody was watching Netflix and they were watching what's going on. Hey, there's a thing called Netflix for games and it's Game Pass. Just go out there and play whatever the heck you want. So people that hadn't played video games in a really long time, including a ton of my friends, where I'm in the early 40s age bracket, and a lot of them hadn't really played video games since Xbox 360. They all grabbed a Series S because in Canada we can get them anywhere.
Saw like 4 at my Best Buy the other day. It's crazy.
And I've been getting friends getting the Series S's, and they just play Game Pass, and they're just like, oh, they can't, like, they're like, oh, I can't go back. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's just so easy. It just makes they made games easily accessible this year in a time where we couldn't leave our house.
That being said, I am excited for what both PlayStation Studios and Xbox Game Studios have in the pipeline. Next year for PlayStation looks big with huge, probably Horizon. Just God of War and Horizon.
Yeah.
And the following year, you're going to get 1, maybe 2 Insomniac titles, which could be insane. Especially, I know Matt's a big comics guy. Court, I don't know how big into the comic stuff you are.
I am big into the comic stuff. We actually, Matt and I talk pretty much all pre-show about comics, because if you look behind me, there's a lot of Batman, just a little bit.
yeah.
That's why I'm called the Dark Knight of Xbox. There's Batman there. There's Batman there.
You have the
Batman
89
there.
Lego Batmobile?
I do.
Oh,
I
see,
also
that's the
have
one
the
I've been eyeing.
I have the Tumbler. I also have the brand new Batmobile.
Yeah, my wife's a Batman fanatic to the same degree, so I've been looking at some of those kits and just like, what's our next build going to be? And I think I want it to be the 89 Batmobile if I can find it. So yeah, I think just knowing that we've got Spider-Man and Wolverine in the pipeline, that's going to be huge for Sony when that does happen. But Xbox, that Bethesda acquisition is going to start paying off.
You got Starfield coming next year, right? You got Elder Scrolls coming up in the pipeline. What?
You assume Deathloop once its exclusivity window ends.
No, you don't have to assume that goes out without saying. It Ghostwire Tokyo, the same thing, and then you have even Forsaken's already showing up in the Microsoft Store, so we already know that that's not going to be. It's only going to be a timed exclusive with PlayStation. And then what's going to come down the pipeline? Is Xbox going to have a banger at the Game Awards? Because y'all know Microsoft's going to. Are we going to see Fable? What are we going to see at the Game Awards? Because we're going to see something from Microsoft. They showed off the console there, for God's sakes. They're going to show something there. And once again, get themselves back into the news.
That's a great idea. And we didn't talk about this before. And let's talk about some of the games we've been playing. Let's just speculate the heck out of the Game Awards. Like, what are we going to see? Like, that could be a lot of fun.
I think I'm going to miss the Game Awards. Wait, that's the Thursday, the 4th, right?
How dare you? We're going to stream it.
I know. I'm in Windsor for work. Fuck.
Take your damn computer. Make it work, God damn it.
Make it work.
I'm going to be at a conference for work, and I'm bringing my computer.
I could be on Discord on my Surface potentially in the hotel room.
Is the 4th next
we'll
week?
Figure it out. I'm just
yeah. The 4th is next week. Oh no,
it's the week after.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no. It's the 11th.
It's the 9th.
Yeah. So I will be at a work conference, but I will be home that evening.
No, I'll be back. Never mind. I'll be back for that.
Wicked.
But I'm bringing my laptop.
Night. That's your stream night, Nathan. We got to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Matt and I are daily. Matt's got that whip out on me, and I got to get that YouTube content all day long. No, I'm kidding. I decided to bring the laptop, and I'll definitely want to record still. Can't miss the news beats.
Sure, you did. Wink.
Come on,
if he's not letting you out.
What is releasing that week in Xbox? There's no way I'm not doing YouTube content.
I mean, it's funny. I took the day off to play Halo. And even with them shadow drop, like honestly, that's probably the biggest shadow drop in video game history, was dropping that on the anniversary with, a bit of a leak, but whatever. I'm still taking that day off just to play through that campaign because I cannot wait. It's like just the state it's in now. You know what? Forget everything else. Let's get into the Halo talk. This is Halo talk now with Press YYZ in court.
Man.
It's probably, at least for me, it's a game of the year contender for sure. And the 100%. Campaign will be what puts it over the top. At least for me. How's everyone else feeling about the Halos?
It's a real special shooter. As I previously talked about on the podcast, the Halo multiplayer experience never really spoke to me, but this one has sort of broken through that glass ceiling. I've played it with you guys. I've played it with other friends and other Discord servers that normally I never would have thought to have played this game with before. I will say, I'm not yet inclined to really begin digging into the battle pass and grinding towards that cool looking samurai armor. And I think that a degree of that has to do with the fact that it's not perhaps as obvious as it could be in terms of explaining how to do some of that stuff. But the potential is definitely there, and it is in beta. So it does have the benefit of being excusable in that way.
Beta with achievements. Weirdest beta with ever. It's so weird. I am 1 away. I'm level 4 right now. I am very close to getting the 5th, but we covered it.
I think I have 2 left on mine.
We covered it today on our YouTube channel, Assemble. So you can only get up to level 7 this week. There's no other way around it. Just based on the challenges that they have available for it. So the highest you can get is 7. I leveled up real quick and was lucky, and now I'm at that lull where I can't really get anywhere, unfortunately, based on the challenge system. I have been extremely unimpressed. Fun. It is so fun. I love the fact that we're changing guns. I'm having fun with the gameplay. The drip is driving me absolutely crazy.
It's affecting everybody the exact same way. It's So
Paul Tassi at Forbes had a great article on this today.
Yeah, we covered it today, and we got some nasty comments, but a lot of great comments.
There's some real big defenders of this.
Yes.
I've only put $100 into Halo Infinite's Battle Pass
Only.
so far.
You put $100 into it?
Yeah. So if the way I see it, it's a game that I already knew I was gonna like, right?
Fair enough.
Because it's Halo. I did the test flights. It was already really good. That's what full price video games cost here in Canada, right?
True.
With tax and everything. It's about $100. I figure I was going to get it anyway, and if it wasn't going to be a Game Pass game anyway, I was going to buy it anyway. What have you? So I figure that is fair, right?
That's a great way to look at it. I'm not lying. That is a great way to look at it.
Yeah, you did the same for Pokemon Unite as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, approximately that much. It was something that I was having a lot of fun with, and you know what? That's what we pay up here for. $100 Canadian for games. That's just unfortunately the economy we live in. So I'm currently level 71 on the battle pass.
Crap. It's a 6-month battle pass, right?
Yep.
A week.
I know. So about 45 of that was level what skips. I originally paid for. The level skip, the premium, and the extra currency that I had, and then I think that came to about $35. I think the premium one, because I bought the premium battle pass, which I think was like $12.99.
Yeah, $12.99. It was $12.93 with tax and it just
weird numbers are weird in Canada. It's fine.
Exactly. We trade in igloos, right?
Exactly.
I gotta take my polar bear for a walk after the podcast there, eh?
Oh yeah, take off, eh?
Yeah,
there, bud. I go grab myself a Canadian there. We can have a real good time there, eh, bud?
Okay.
For a dart there.
Okay.
Yes. It doesn't work for Quebecers apparently.
Hey, we don't use that kind of French on this show.
Omelette du fromage. No, so the premium battle pass and everything got you to level 25, and the extra currency that I had got me to level 45, and I still had up to the $100 like another $20 that I needed to spend. I leveled up about to get to where I was still comfortable giving the money. And so I leveled up a bit, felt the grind, and I was just like, I just want my fucking armor to look the way I want it. And I've only got 14 more levels, so I bought like the tier above the amount that I needed, which got me to the $100. And I now have like the ODST helmet and stuff, and I've leveled up to get the superintendent AI, which is the boopy beepy guy from Halo ODST, and yeah, like, so the challenge system itself has changed in the last week as well, right? Because they provided the update and changed a handful of stuff, but and it's not feeling as grindy. But I also think Fiesta, depending on the challenges you get, the Fiesta is actually helping with the grind, because the random weapons means you are
that grab hammer challenge I have is real easy with Fiesta.
Well, it's almost the point where if they're going to keep this style, they have to just do random weapons to start off, because it's just it's a little bit but they did put out a tweet today saying that they hear everybody loud and clear, but everybody's on vacation right now. It's Thanksgiving, and they will be making changes.
Dumb question, cozy time. Somebody who's been playing this game a lot, has been enjoying it, but has found some of the menus and battle pass system a little bit on the confusing side. What exactly are Fiestas?
Well, Fiesta's the new playlist. Well, the new event.
Essentially, was it today that they dropped it? Yesterday. So yesterday they started their first event, which is it's essentially another battle pass, but this one's totally free. But you can only progress in it by completing Fiesta
event challenge.
Fracture.
Event challenge.
Fracture or event. I think it's Fracture.
It's the Fiesta playlist.
Yeah, there are extra challenges now that are tagged as event challenges. And as you complete those, you'll level up the event pass, which you only do by playing in the event playlist. And the event playlist right now for this week, and it's going to probably change in subsequent weeks because the event is what, 7 weeks?
Yeah, so it's even
over
more
6
of
months?
it's someone like that would want all the armor. So some of this armor that to complete the samurai outfit, you won't even be able to get it until January because it won't even be available.
Well,
I'm not even kidding you. So you can see it there right now, but you can't have it because you can never get there.
Well,
it'll get you back in.
So essentially, Cozy,
but they're going to change it.
Fiesta is the game mode that is in the current event playlist.
Which
and
is
what
awesome.
Fiesta is every time you spawn with a random loadout. So you might load up one with a pistol and a plasma pistol, which happened to me and it sucked. Or you'll load up with a rocket launcher and a grav hammer, and you'll be happy.
Exactly. And Cozy, don't feel bad about asking questions because we did a whole video on trying to answer questions and then saying we had questions ourselves. Mind you, the Halo purists, they'll hop into those comments right away and call you an idiot, which is fine. That's what YouTube's for people thinking they're smarter than other people. And I get
there's always someone smarter than you. Otherwise, there wouldn't be someone in the comments being a complete turd.
Jeez, and most of us are married, so we know that for a fact.
Actually, in this conversation, the majority of us are in fact married.
Hey,
it's true. So we get to replace Alex for a podcast.
Yeah,
for now. Well, which one of us is getting divorced?
I hope it's not me.
We just got married.
I can't go through another one. No, that's not going to
happen. So I think.
So yes, Halo is fun. Let's. I think we can all agree. The combat, the
core gameplay
is phenomenal. Like it's the best shooter multiplayer I have played in years, and I love it. But my problem is, I'm not a big guy on changing the way I look. I don't care. I just like playing the game. I like the Division 2 because it gives me some of those little exotics. I like Destiny because you drop me some cool little guns.
Avengers.
No, that game is real bad. The XP drip is just it's
better than it was at launch.
It's still bad. Just make that thing move. Just make that thing move and be able to. There was a video, Tom Warren put it out today, and they talk about how like nothing is going to be blocked by paying for it. Everything's going to be able to. A while ago, they put out this video. They said that everything would be available through playing the game. Well, guess what? It's not.
You're gonna have hundreds of options available to you from launch, and like there's gonna be every Spartan's gonna look unique. That video
launch hasn't happened yet.
The problem I see is that in this event, the armor that you unlock is not the samurai armor that they've been using in all of their promotional materials leading up to the launch of the game.
Correct. But that samurai armor you can get, but it's not till January.
Is that it's not till January, or that you have to pay for it in January?
No, so they're saying you can't pay for it right now, but so data miners are seeing that you can probably get that armor, but it's not until January. Or you can get some of the pieces that look really nice, but if you want, it's $30 for a sword that you can't use, but it'll be on your armor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so people are getting angry and saying that they're, and I get it. Like there's two sides, because I didn't look at this perspective, and someone put it into our comments there because we kept saying, well, it's free to play. And the person's like, well, no, technically you're paying full price for Halo Infinite. They just put out the multiplayer early. And they're saying that it's two separate things, but the multiplayer is still technically the game. And I'm like, well, I guess you can look at it that way. And then you can also look at it from the side of someone like yourself, who you've been playing multiplayer Halo for forever. And you're like, hey, I would have been happy to have paid full price for multiplayer if you would allow me to unlock everything. Correct? Mm-hmm. Am I correct in assuming this?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the $100 that I put in theory, should have gotten me access to a lot more than it did. Right. Correct. And like even still, like if I didn't level up some of the levels in the battle pass, I might still not be at the armor that I wanted. That being said, if you remember back in like Halo 3, you had to get certain achievements to be able to unlock the certain armor, right? Like the Hayabusa armor, which is the Japanese-inspired armor in Halo 3, was for completing Halo 3 on Legendary solo, I believe.
Which is fine, but you can do that without having... You can do that by playing the game.
And not by playing the game and not having to pay extra money into it. right?
Which
and
is
so
understandable.
yeah, it's unfortunate of the world that we live in right now that you know, the monetization is such a it's not even
this one's so bad. It's so bad.
It's not even an oversight at how bad that is. It's
purposeful.
It's not Avengers bad, but it's close.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and
Mitch, you trashed my team. I was saving this one. Yeah, saving it.
And every company that does
I get it.
Every company that does a battle pass falls into that exact same trap of, well, you know, we're going to plan it to be this bad so that we still get more press coverage the weeks later because we're improving. Look, we listened, we made it better, right? And it's like,
you really, that feels kind of conspiracy theory-ish.
There's like no other explanation.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's...
Especially with the video.
I'm not saying it's not believable, for the record. I'm not saying it's not believable. It just feels like awfully conniving in a way that is...
That a company...
that likes money.
That a corporation that really likes money, whether it be somebody like Activision...
let's not get into that again. That was a whole thing last week.
They suck.
Or
they don't suck. Specific people
you're right.
Suck.
Bobby Kotick, he sucks.
Yeah, fuck that.
And anyone who supports him,
big donkey dick,
also sucks.
Or even Microsoft or EA has gone through this, and it's like nobody's looking at the other companies making this same mistake, making something too grindy or whatever, and it feels intentional to have it, like part of the marketing is to have the we hear you, we're listening to the community walk back.
See how far they can push us until
I think is understandable given that the game 1 is in beta, which I think was the right marketing spin to put on this, because it gives them the time to adjust and pivot, say, hey, look, at launch we've made all of these corrections and everything's, you know, roses and unicorns with poop and rainbows out their butts and stuff.
Can they fix this for launch? Like,
yeah, they did the other fix within days.
But I don't think they can fix the challenge thing. Like, I think some of the biggest gripes everybody wants is because they've all been playing this game for years, and I'm in the same boat. I want experience for killing people. Like, Jesus, just give it to me. That's all you got to do.
What I said they should do, and it's not experience for kills, but experience tied to specific medals in matches. So you get a double kill, triple kill, a stake-tacular, make that worth something.
The medals are pointless. Like, at least give me at least Call of Duty when they give you like a new banner or whatever. Like, give me something for doing something cool, because you're giving me nothing. I play a match and all of a sudden it just goes, here's 50 experience points because you did nothing else in the challenges, and I'm like, okay, you suck.
Well, here's 50 experience points because you played the objective and weren't going around trying to hit everyone with the grab hammer.
Yeah, like, it's just, and that's the other thing. You have so many people that are playing Halo, and you see it on social media, and they're like, no one's doing the objectives because the challengers don't want you to.
No,
it doesn't matter whether you win or lose. It doesn't matter.
The most fun I've had with Halo Infinite thus far is when they announced that, hey, you don't have to finish all these challenges to get that first weekly unlockable. I'm like, great, now I can just play the game. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to grind out those weekly challenges. I've got, I think, 5 or 6 left between the two, the event mode and the regular ones. I can't wait to be done with that so that I can just play Halo with my friends and be shouting out, hey, they're running at B, or, you know, grab the flag, I'll camp ours, things like that, and actually play Halo and not chase the battle pass.
I'm just confused because you got games like Destiny, you got games like Apex Legends, you got all these games that have already shown how to do it and how to still make money, and they were like, hey, you know what we're gonna do?
Not that.
We're gonna piss everybody off for like a good little bit, and then, like, to your point, and then change it after the fact because they have no choice now. And maybe they were trying to see how far they could go before they had to change it. Because when the challenges first came out, you had a lot of us, we're all reading it, we're like, okay, let's just see what happens when those come out. It sounds weird, but let's just see when it comes out. And then when it came out, you're like, ooh.
It was like that in the test flight.
Yeah, I know.
And people voiced it there. And they just said, let's just
Let's see what happens.
It's just like, we're telling you that it's not going to, and sure enough, like, the people were right. It's not.
The other issue with the way that they're doing their progress right now. Sorry, AJ. Is for the event. Like you said, you can unlock 7 levels of it this week, and that's it. You want to guess how many of those are consumables that you get from that, and how many of them are actually cosmetics? Because in those 7 levels,
it's like every other one, right?
I think no. So 4 out of the 7 that you can get this week are consumables, either a challenge swap or an XP boost. So if they had just done this as cosmetics, which is what they should have done, and I had unlocked this pass is twice as long as it needs to be. They're padding it out with these consumables, which granted, that will help me with my week-to-week grind, because I don't want to be trying to save 3 teammates from afar in PvP because I'm bad with the sniper. So I can swap that out. So I'm glad to be getting these things, but at the same time, they're padding this. And again, that Forbes article from Paul Tassi, give that a read, because that summarizes a lot of the problems with.
Or I just watched the video from Assemble XP today. We literally had this. We went into the article and we did a whole conversation about it, because it's a phenomenal article, and Paul is the guru.
Paul is the games as a service guy.
Yeah,
his Avengers articles were on point that whole time.
He's right about Halo Infinite. I did laugh at the amount of people. There was a group of people that were, I'm deleting Halo Infinite, and making a stance and put it on Twitter, and I was just like, I don't know what this stance is. It's a weird one.
Yeah, it's still a fun game. Guys, play the game if it's fun.
Those guys are fucking idiots.
The game is awesome. I wouldn't call them
idiots. I mean,
they're entitled jerks. They're entitled jerks.
The game is awesome. The gameplay is phenomenal. They just got to fix the grind and make it more fun. Give me a reason to go back, because right now, there's way too many times where you could get yourself to a certain point and you're like, well, I can't play anymore because it doesn't make a difference what I do.
See, when I get to that point, it's just, oh, hey, friends are playing. I'm going to play because it's so much fun.
I will play with friends. But right now, I'm in my brain. I see Nathan with his achievements all the time, and I'm like, I gotta get more of those. I gotta beat him.
You don't. I mean, you do specifically, because you had.
I lost all my achievements.
You had a fun time this week with your Xbox account. You want to talk about that at all, or?
Well, so it was before. It was actually at the very beginning of getting the Series X. I tried to sign it into my old account, and I hadn't signed in 5 years since Sunset Overdrive, so like 6 years. And it said that I had to go through my Outlook, and then when I tried to do that, I couldn't figure out the password. I tried a million different times, and they said my recovery email was my old work email address, which I no longer worked at said company. So then I couldn't get recovery. So then I called Microsoft, and they were like, yeah, there's nothing we can do. And so I had to start a brand new account. I had over 300,000 gamer score that I lost. It was a tough one. So I've decided that that's okay. I'm not going to get all that back. It is what it is. So I'm going to go back and play through some of the old games, because of backwards compatibility on Xbox. The old games,
play 50 Cent Blood in the Sand.
That is a very good achievement game, not gonna lie. So that could be right up there. If Hannah Montana was still around, I would definitely be playing some of that. But Last Airbender,
I don't think
is
those
available,
licensing,
and that's a 5-minute. You can just order it on. But I don't have a 360. It won't play on your Xbox Series X unless it is backwards compatible.
If you need hands on a 360, I'm pretty sure there's one collecting dust in my parents' basement. So
I would love a 360. I was gonna put out a bat signal today and say who's got a 360, because I would love to go back.
I'm not using it, so let's connect after the fact.
Yeah, so I'm trying to go back and go get all this old gamer score. Not get the 300,000. I know that's not going to happen, but it's going to be a fun little thing for me. It's going to be for my next year, where I'm going to play some old games. I'm going to play old Call of Duties, because the campaigns are phenomenal. I'm going to play. Both myself and Matt are going to play Arkham Knight's Origins. Now, it's the one game you can't get on the digital. You have to play the disc. And Origins is backwards compatible. Now, the backwards compat games, if you were playing them on your PlayStation, they would just look like the game was when you played it. When you play it on an Xbox Series X or S, they do HDR effects. They actually give you better frame rates. They actually change the look of the game.
So I went and dug out my disc copy of Batman Arkham Origins for the 360, because it was one of the only Batman it is the only Batman Arkham game to this date, including the mobile games, that I had not beaten. And when I threw that into that Xbox and it booted up and I didn't have to install 2 discs because for whatever reason that game came on 2 discs, man, it's so good. I gotta finish it. I gotta
fight
finish
scene.
it.
Deathstroke fight scene is one of the best fight scenes. I still think that that God of War fight scene was like inspired by that Deathstroke. Oh yeah, for sure, because that was the best fight scene in a long time. It was like, wow, they did such a great job. So I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna play a lot of old games. I've got the Tomb Raiders. I'm gonna go through and play some old games, and then Nathan can look up on the screen and see my score is bigger than his score.
Yeah,
Nathan gets a lot of achievements, by the way. Nathan gets a ton of achievements.
Addicted to Xbox rewards points.
Same here. No, he taught me. So
daily achievement.
He taught me. You got to teach me how to get friggin' kills in Payday 2. Because that's sitting there. I'm just like, what do I do? It's not a good game. I can't figure it out.
So there's
Payday 2 and PES.
Rewards Hunter on YouTube. Okay. Go to Rewards Hunter on YouTube. It's a YouTuber by the name of Chick Possible. Okay. And he does rewards videos for every single challenge, telling you the quickest way to get said challenge done.
I will say one thing, Nathan, you'll be proud of me. I booted that up today and saw that I had to get 50,000 coins in Disneyland Adventures, and sure as shit, I booted that thing up, and like 1 or 2 runs of the Matterhorn, and I had it. It took no time.
Nathan, look at my gamer score on that game.
What? Quick question.
My daughter and I have played a ton of that game.
Quick question. People,
it's so bad.
My fellow co-hosts will know that I'm, quite the trophy whore on this podcast. But, achievements are not really something that's ever spoken to me. Does everybody here know off the top of their head what their gamer score is on Xbox?
Not to the exact number.
No, I'm a little bit higher than Nathan. I think I'm 18,000. Hold on.
So I'm at about 9, but I actually did the same. I did by choice. I did what Court did when I got the Xbox. I didn't want to use my old gamer tag because I didn't like it and I didn't want to pay to change it. So I actually created a new account.
I am 1,375. No,
sorry, 13,000.
Yeah, sorry. That was just this week. Sorry, my apologies.
I was going to say I'm at 9,000 total.
17,415.
I'm 1,295.
So I'm playing BioShock Remastered right now, Guardians of the Galaxy, NHL, Halo Infinite, Forza.
I need to hear your thoughts on Guardians when you're done, because that's another one of those games for Game of the Year where I fell in love.
It's sexy, and if Matt is in the chat, Matt can't play it. Matt can't play it until Christmas, and I daily tell him how good it is.
Matt, I'm just telling you here, you're gonna have a great Christmas, buddy. It's so good.
AJ, you were trying to say
yes. My achievement score is a point of shame with me because I've had an Xbox 3. I had an Xbox 360 at the launch of the 360. I got the Xbox One at the launch of that, but I don't finish. I enjoy the achievements as they're happening naturally through the game. I don't always go out of my way to go and get them.
You paid
so I'm only around
the proper respect that it deserved.
Yeah. So I'm only around like 42,000 or something like that, and that's
it's going to pass you by March.
Yeah, but at this rate,
it's the goal. I want to be 200,000.
Sure.
You want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
No, I just want to be at least 200,000. Make myself feel better again by the end of next year.
I got the reference.
Segue to Pokemon, but whatever, it's fine.
But see, the thing I like I love the Platinum Trophy. I think PlayStation hit the nail right on the head. But the thing that Xbox that I like better is it shows the tracker, and I know Nathan likes that too. Nathan can go into those achievements, and it can show how close you are to getting that achievement.
The PS5 is fixing some of that.
It's pretty sexy.
No, it is, but it is,
and
it's very inconsistent.
Thank you. It's bad.
The developers have to choose to do it. That's the problem. They've got the functionality in there. The developers have to choose to implement that functionality in the game for the trophies.
And Xbox does it differently. They say you have to do it. They say
it's part of the achievement interface. Yeah,
which is why
their achievement interface is better. Like let's.
150%.
And I love the noise, and I'm sure Nathan, because I know you're a whore like me for achievements. The noise that it makes when you get a diamond.
I mean, yeah.
It's a very, and I wish that they would just make the diamond that's what you get when that instead of the platinum, just call it the diamond, and that's what you get at the end. You get this diamond that pops because I love it.
Yeah, I think when I talk about I'm close to platinuming Forza,
which is the best, one of the best games of this year.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a bit because I'm very, very close to the end of it.
Let's talk about it now. Let's talk about it now. Talk about Forza.
So, I don't know if this will surprise you guys. Probably not because I posted on social media. I've put 60 hours into this game.
What? I'm not surprised. You love racing games and you love good games, and Forza is both of those things.
Not only have I put 60 hours into it, I am just over 8,000 in the world for completion at the moment on it. In terms of the accolades. So
wow.
I'm like
getting real close to Goku over there.
Yeah. Well, I'm over 9,000.
Yeah, the smaller the number, the better in this case.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So no, I'm doing and I've completed almost every single objective. The last thing I've done all the stories. I've done every expedition. I've done every showcase. I have done all the trailblazers, all the speed traps, all the speed things, all the races, everything. The only thing I have left to do are 3 drift zones because I hate fucking drift zones. And
They're terrible.
It's so bad.
I've got 3 left that I need to 3-star that are sitting on 2 stars right now, but then I will have 3-starred every single piece of content in that game.
Now, did you do what I did and what I think Court was the one who convinced me to do it? Did you buy the treasure map?
Nope. Did it all manually.
Wow. I love the game so much that I'm just like, I just need an easier way to do these things. I'd rather have the thing on the map that I'm chasing rather than Court convinced me to do it.
I did find an online map that I was able to just nail those fast travel boards. But once you nail
those, you can still then fast travel to all the other things that are on the map. It makes it so easy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, that's not true. There's one sign I need left to get because I need hot, dry season to come back to make the lake go away. Because there's a sign that's easy to get when the lake goes away, and you have to do a stupid, insane jump to get it. If not,
fair enough.
So,
do you feel like the release of Halo butchered the audience for Forza?
Yeah, we talked about that beforehand, and I was like, releasing these 2 games so close, even with the beta, is going to take the oxygen out of the air for Forza, and I think it's completely done that. I think you were doubting me a little bit when I said that, and people.
I was. I apologize. You were totally on the money there.
If I didn't get banned, I would have played a little more Forza with you, and also if Halo didn't come out. So yeah, I'm kind of right there with you.
Okay, we're going back to it. We're going back to it.
You got banned?
Are you unbanned yet?
Yeah, it was only for a week. It was only for a week, and I was unbanned the day Halo came out. Okay, really quick. I'll tell it really quick.
The orange and black site.
Yeah, so I was curated in the custom decal portion of Forza some very softcore hentai-esque pictures, decals of very attractive anime ladies with gigantic mommy milkers, and it was curated.
Yeah, you went too far.
It was curated. All right, I have to paint this picture. It was curated.
Click it.
Oh, I had to put it on the cars I was driving, right? So that's fine.
You really did.
I figured, hey, if they're curating these things to me, I can just make a cheeky little Pornhub logo and drive around with that because that'd be funny. I'd laugh if I saw that driving around.
Yeah, I say orange and black side. He goes right for it. It's fine.
It got me banned for a week. So when you like everybody else, when you read the terms of service after something happens, it's
we all read them before. You're supposed to read them before you click the button.
Oh, right? Is that? Yeah. Well,
yeah, you read those.
You acknowledge it, and then you just play the game without reading it. That's
no, that's not what you do.
Go on.
So for the record here, they've banned a lot of people recently for, I've been on the Reddit, and actually the ongoing joke on the Horizon Reddit right now is about banning. And will they get banned for this? They have been very ban happy for a few things. Apparently, YouTubers who have been using infinite money glitches have been banned as well. So they are going.
They got rid of they got rid of our Willie Jeep.
Yeah, they patched that. I didn't even use that.
It worked so well, but
as soon as I saw your video, I'm like, I needed it.
And it wasn't. When you think about it, I really looked into this first, and I was like, wait a second, this is in their game. This is this is not even you're breaking the system. This is just the way it's set up. Like
it's just an economy issue.
Yeah, like the other ones, when people are doing these infinite money glitches, they're doing glitches. This isn't a glitch. This is literally the way they set it up, where you could just buy this Jeep, sell it, get your points back, and just continue to do it over and over again until they patched it.
Well, it's one of the glitches, how they released Halo, and the grind was the opposite of that.
Yeah. So Forza has a really good like grind to it. It still uses good. Yeah. It makes you want to keep coming back and playing it.
Unless you're into Halo.
Yes, unless you're into Halo.
I'm not gonna lie, I just wanted the DeLorean and I got it.
Yeah.
No, I did that DeLorean. Same thing. I got the DeLorean and I bounced.
I got
and once again, that was very easy to get with it was a glitch where you hop in and hop out and you could just purchase it. You didn't have to do anything.
Oh, I did the right
I definitely did the challenges.
Look at it. I love how he's like, Nathan's like, I did the right way.
Yeah. But no, it's a good game. I'm just disappointed that Microsoft released this all week after, or released Halo a week after they put this out, because I think these should have been spread further apart.
I mean,
before we continue, Mitch. I want to interrupt this and just say I don't normally do this. We try not to do this on a live show. But GFam in the chat asked if this is live or pre-recorded. This is your answer. Hi. Continue.
I just want to say very quickly, this is actually touching on something that we talked about in episode 90 of the show, which is that Xbox did genuinely have a really, really good year, but compared to Sony in 2018, it definitely took Xbox a little while to kind of really truly hit their stride on like a AAA level. Halo and Forza Horizon 5 are both phenomenal titles, but both
you have to include Deathloop into this conversation. That's an Xbox game. It just happened to be on PlayStation.
Does it say Xbox Game Studio on PlayStation, or does it say...
The point that I'm trying to make...
Microsoft Game Studio on that game.
The point that I'm trying to make is that in 2018, Sony benefited from staggering out so many of its biggest releases. God of War 2018 released quite a few months apart from Spider-Man, which released a few months apart from the remake of Shadow of the Colossus. Xbox, on the other hand, has had a really phenomenal end to its year, but it's been very, very compacted.
And I would think that has everything to do with the global pandemic. I'm just taking a shot in the dark here. Like if you think about it, they dropped a game like Psychonauts 2, which is greatly underappreciated for the story and the fact that it touches on mental health. It is a phenomenal game. And then Deathloop released on PlayStation, which is a Microsoft Studio game. So there's two great games from them. Then they had Forza, let's say it properly.
Forza,
and then they had
Italian wife says Forza. It's Forza.
No, so they literally put out a whole thing about it on they did a whole video about it, Xbox and how to say it. So it's Forza.
Yeah.
Forza. And then they had Halo. So it's tough. I hate to compare. It's even like I'm a sports guy, and it's tough to compare generations. So
the other thing
PlayStation's 2018 didn't have a pandemic. Yes, they spaced it out. But like I said, I look at the year and the news beat and branding wise, Xbox right now, just perfect example. The PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X went on sale at Walmart yesterday. They put it up. The Walmart for Xbox sold out in less than a minute. The PlayStation was still up for an hour.
See, and that's the opposite of where we were earlier in the year.
Correct. 100%.
Because PlayStation,
same idea.
Here's the difference, Mitch. I know you haven't listened to the episode yet, but
I do just want to say before we get too far away from it, talking about things from earlier in the year and looking at sports, we can't discount the fact that Sony released their biggest sports franchise on Xbox to,
they didn't
positive-ish reviews. So,
they didn't.
Oh, they definitely didn't want to, and I'm sure Xbox didn't want to release Deathloop on the PlayStation.
100%.
Yep.
So we'll see how that goes in the future.
So I think the difference between 2018 and this year is that PlayStation hasn't whiffed this year. When you're looking at 2018, PlayStation had all the oxygen. When you're talking about why it was such a big year, what did Xbox have that year?
Well,
nothing. Nothing. And it's a question of, has Sony had a bad year? No. Has it been the best year? It's not been their best year, but they've had Ratchet, they've had Returnal, they had the Ghost of Tsushima update.
Phenomenal.
They've had the director's cut. They had the
Death Stranding director's cut.
They've had stuff come out through. They've had stuff continually come out throughout the year.
MLB The Show.
Yeah, MLB The Show, another first party. And people were waiting on Horizon, which has now been pushed to next year. But
totally understand it. I still think God of War gets pushed out of next year, honestly.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with it. And that's very, very possible. And if they need to, they need to.
Exactly.
But I think the difference in why people aren't talking is Xbox had a great fourth quarter. Like Court, you're right. Deathloop is an Xbox game, but it's on PlayStation, so it's going to get that PlayStation buzz. Yep. Psychonauts was completely multi-platform to help with the FIG.
It wasn't totally. The PlayStation version was the PS4 version. They did not release the PS5 version.
You could play it on someone that has the nice fancy TV. I would not. No, I want the best looking version if I can.
Well, and that's the thing is they optimized it for Xbox Series X and Series S because it made sense for them to do that because it is a first party title.
Well, because they already had agreements to put it on everything, and they were like, "Well, we don't have an agreement to make it fancy like we can on the one console."
That's the thing. They had agreements to put it on consoles at the time that the FIG backing happened, which was PC, PS4, Xbox One. And then, obviously the Microsoft acquisition happens and they optimize for the series consoles, which totally makes sense. AJ, please go ahead.
I just wanted to say something's come up and I'm going to have to dip out of the show for tonight. Okay. Good to talk to you, buddy. Court. Yeah. It's all good. Thanks for letting me say my piece about Halo.
Be sure to lambast us in the chat with anything you still want to bug us about if you're able to.
If you guys are wrong about something, I'll be sure to let you know. All right.
Okay, awesome. Take care, AJ.
Take care, AJ.
Adios.
We'll miss you.
Now the real party can start. All right, let's do this.
Okay. We've switched to 4 people.
Oh yeah, trust me.
On point. That whole thing.
When I run the show, I don't let our layout be screwed up for more than a second.
Excuse me, it was not screwed up at all last week because we didn't change it. So yeah.
Okay.
We didn't do a single transition last week.
God, no, we didn't have any of the. We didn't show any gameplay. We didn't do any of that stuff because I was terrified.
No. So sorry, I didn't mean to overpower. I think it was overpowering there on what was going on. For the record, Court, we haven't talked about Psychonauts 2. I actually think Psychonauts 2 story and talking about mental health was actually really good. I just hated the combat. And I think the combat
which is understandable.
It keeps out of being a game of the year. Like every time I got into combat in that game, I was like, oh. And the bosses, just like
there was one boss I hated, the chefs. I hated the chefs because it's just too much.
Tim Schafer said that without Microsoft, they wouldn't be able to do boss battles, and I kind of wish Microsoft hadn't bought them if that's the case, and we would have just had a better game.
Quick question from the press pool. Are we planning on doing our Game of the Year stuff like last year where we pre-record a bunch of it? Because Psychonauts 2 is one of those games that's on my list to get to when I'm off the week between Christmas and New Year's. And that's when I want to play in that time. But if we're recording before that, then it's really going to come down to the 5 games I've already talked about for my Game of the Year ideas.
We could do Game of the Year in the new year.
Do what the Game Awards should do? Push it to January?
Actually, that's maybe not a bad idea.
We'll definitely have to talk about it.
We'll figure it out.
We'll have to talk about because
I just want to say we certainly don't have to repeat exactly what we did last year. We can figure out what we think will work best for this year.
Yeah,
I like what we did last year, but since we didn't all play everything, it kind of became a moot point by the end of it. But I'm glad that was it Final Fantasy VII Remake that won, which it should have won, so that's fine. I think. Right?
Yeah, it did. Yes. It was very close, but it managed to pull ahead.
So maybe we'll figure something different out for this year. Who knows? But that's a conversation for a later episode. If you have any ideas, drop them our way on Twitter. Press YYZ.
We'd love to hear how you guys want us to figure this out. So
because we have no idea what we're doing.
Well, we're still new, and we don't want to just things to do things. Like, let's do it the right way.
Let's do it way. Let's do it our way.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I need to show off my Halo shirt.
Is it similar to my Halo shirt?
Well, this is a special
no. That's not similar to my Halo shirt.
So Nathan, my question to you is, while you're showing off your T-shirt, what
do you think?
That's pretty well done. Did your kids make it?
No, I made it.
Oh, well done.
Why are you wearing a Hold shirt?
Sorry. No, that's Halo. See?
Oh, okay, it looked like a D.
So So, question for you, Nathan. Since you become a very entrenched in the Xbox world, are you going to change your little picture of your head and put an Xbox controller with the PlayStation controller, so you're dual purposed?
He's not allowed to do that for reasons.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I know where that. Well, you could commission something else and just not.
Yeah, 100%.
In that place, the bad place.
Yeah.
We'll talk offline about why that is the way it is.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I figure out why.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll see. It's PlayStation's still my primary platform. Like, I use my Xbox daily to get my rewards points, but I still try to play on PlayStation when I can. So,
but PlayStation has become my first party machine, except for the fact that I'm gonna I know Godfall's absolutely trash, but I'm gonna play it. It's free next month. Spoiler alert, it's free next month. And so is Lego.
Hasn't been confirmed.
Spoiler alert, that's going to be free next month.
Yeah, and so is Lego Villains, and I'm going to play it.
Which I'm disappointed by, because I own it on the Switch, and now I'm just going to play it on the PlayStation because it'll play better.
Yeah, I bought it on the Switch for my kids, actually. And now I hated playing it on the Switch because I hate playing my Switch at this point.
I love playing the Switch, dude. That Pro controller, ooh, it's so good.
It's the 30 FPS, it's the graphical quality, it's knowing what I'm not getting, and because I play in docked mode pretty much all the time, like, it stands out.
That's understandable.
So yeah. Damn
it, I was trying for some dead air, but it's fine.
Well, it was definitely there.
No, I think it's tough.
Can you just play taps? Can you like edit it and just play taps when he talks about the Switch and just play taps?
No, that's too much work to ask for. I mean, we never do video edits, so you get us raw and uncut. Other than trimming the beginning and the end, this is all the crazy weird crap we get up to every week, and we love y'all for being here and listening to it and watching it. Especially if you've gotten an hour into a YouTube video, which is beyond crazy to me.
This is a girthy, raw, and uncut.
Oh, let's.
Oh yeah.
Why do I still agree to?
I still got to record. Matt's probably in the chat going, "Are we recording? Are we recording? Are we recording tomorrow?"
You're definitely recording tomorrow. Who are you kidding?
No, we're definitely recording right after this. Right after this, definitely going to record one episode so that we can have it in the morning, because I'm going to meet Matt in person tomorrow. It's exciting. It's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can't do your lunchtime record if you're doing it in person.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's talk about.
And I got to get a haircut because I have issues. I get a haircut every 2 weeks.
Really?
Yep.
Why? I'm like a once every 4 to 5 months kind of guy.
I am what I am.
Creature of habit, or
yeah, I just get it every 2 weeks because I like it to be like, this is bothering me right now. It's bothering me.
See, so none of you saw me in the before times where I would grow my hair out to like the wildest proportions. No. And had this real, like, it gets like, you can tell it's curly when it's long. It's curly. If any of y'all are Facebook friends with me, just hop back to a photo from high school and gasp at what used to be my hair when it wasn't, like 35 to 40%.
Are we allowed to hop into Facebook? Find
Definitely
a
not hopping into my Facebook
stream?
right now on stream. No, we're not.
You sure?
Yes. You do that and I quit.
For me,
all right.
I had growing up too many bad experiences with haircuts where the hair would get all over my body and back. And I know it's like a very minuscule reason to not get haircuts more recent. I know, but like, I just have never been particularly privy to.
You need to go to a better hairdresser if they're cutting it and getting it on your back.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like our hairdresser is real close to where I live, and so we've kind of just gone there out of convenience. I probably need to find another place. Anyways, that's just the cozy hair situation.
Yeah, I go as long as I can. Once it starts getting to a point where I can flip it, then I know I have to go get a haircut.
I can't do that.
I know you can't, but some of us have. Like, the problem for me is I go to a really nice hairdresser, so if I were to go every couple of weeks, it'd be like $45 every 2 weeks.
It's $40 for me. $40 for me every 2 weeks.
I can't do that. I appreciate someone who cares as much about their appearance as you do.
No. It's the hair. It's the hair. Maybe it's an OCD thing.
Oh, okay.
It's, you know what? It's definitely an OCD thing. 100%.
That's okay. I know we talked earlier about maybe getting into some Game Awards talk, but if I know you got to record with Matt, we won't keep you too much longer. So thanks, Matt, for putting up with us. But
I can definitely say that I think Microsoft will show off something we haven't seen footage of yet. That's what I'm guessing. We've already seen Redfall. Maybe we'll see some gameplay of Redfall because we saw those leaks of their gameplay, and
we only got the
trailers.
CG trailer, right?
So maybe we get to see gameplay of Redfall, or maybe we get to see gameplay of Starfield.
Redfall is Arcane, right?
Starfield gameplay.
No, Redfall though. That's the Arcane game, or
yep. Yeah, Arcane.
Their
Texas studio.
Sure. Yeah, they're looter shooter.
What's the
I'm excited for that
in development Ninja Theory game that we haven't seen in a while? It's a sequel.
Soul Sacrifice.
Hellblade 2.
Hellblade 2.
Yeah,
sorry.
Hellblade 2.
Jesus,
yeah. I'd love to get an update on that.
I've never finished Hellblade, and I have to do that.
I did it when I got the Xbox, and I had a great time with it. You're gonna have a blast. Cozy, you want to talk about any of the other games you've been playing? I know you've been doing your big game of the year, play all the things that people are talking about, push.
Yes,
you want to give us a bit of an update on Ratchet or Life is Strange?
Sure. I beat Ratchet. I beat it over a week ago at this point, but alas, I was not on last episode, so I couldn't talk about it then. I kind of felt the same way about that game, the same way I felt when I beat Spider-Man 2018, where I think it's a phenomenal title. I think that its gameplay is polished to perfection. I do think that its story, for the sheer amount of production value, doesn't reach as high as it could go. And it's just this thing where it's like, there's incredible talent at play there. There's what's her face who voices Rivet,
Jennifer
Hale. Like, what a phenomenal performance from her and from all the other characters of the cast. But I just was kind of hoping for something a little bit more from the story. I realize that it sounds like I'm kind of making a mountain out of a molehill, but people did say when this game came out that this was like truly playing an interactive Pixar movie, more so than when you got to play as Woody and Toy Story Sora in Kingdom Hearts 3, for example. And so I'm kind of just comparing it against that. Overall, very good. I'm not surprised that it ended up as one of the nominees for this year's Game of the Year. I also recently started Life is Strange True Colors. This is the second Life is Strange game that I've played. I played the original Life is Strange Season 1, as it were, back in 2016. I did not play Before the Storm or Season 2. I will eventually at some point get around to those.
Well, they're doing the remastered collection, right? So you could always give that a shot there.
Does that have 2 in it, or just Before the Storm in the original?
I think it's Before the Storm in the original.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
In any case, I have been enjoying it. I will say it is a touch more janky than perhaps I was hoping it would be. This is a game that has, again, some phenomenal voice acting in it and a really kind of heartfelt story that's trying its hardest to pull on your heartstrings, but there are a few moments where you can tell that the ambition of Deck 9 kind of outweighed their capabilities as a developer. There's a sequence in episode 3 of Life is Strange True Colors, which you can see on screen right now. If you can't see it on screen right now, and
if you're watching, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you're listening, and by the way, I should say,
you're only apologizing now.
It's not a visual show for the most part until Cozy starts saying, "Watch this, watch that."
I'm making a joke.
So, spoiler alert, if you were meaning to experience Life is Strange True Colors on your own time and you haven't had a chance yet to do so, episode 3 of this season, as it were, basically you engage in an extended LARPing session with a younger character that you come to befriend in the town. And the kind of whole conceit with this particular season of Life is Strange is that the character that you play as, Alex Chen, is an empath, which means that she can perceive the emotions that other people are feeling as auras of various different colors, and she can use this to perceive what it is that people are currently feeling if they have a particularly strong emotion.
Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy. For those aren't really familiar with the premise. Feel and push emotions on people.
And if she chooses to kind of feel the emotion of somebody who's feeling particularly strong emotions, the world around her will shift and change in response to the emotions that she's feeling. So, for example, towards the end of the first episode, she and her companion here are forced to cross a rickety bridge. Her companion is just overcome with fear, and he perceives the world around him as being more fantastical and dangerous than it actually is. He perceives the gaping maw of the river below them as a literal gaping maw, which is what the world transforms into when you begin to see things through his eyes. Knowing this, going into this particular episode of Life is Strange, I thought, I think I know where this is going. We're going to engage in this extended LARPing session, and by channeling other people's emotions, it's basically going to turn into an actual kind of fantasy environment. These characters that are all dressed up to, resemble these sort of fantasy characters, orcs, elves, and dwarves, are going to transform into actual orcs, elves, and dwarves. And that does happen for maybe a total of 5 minutes towards the very end of this segment. And the entire time I'm like, oh man, maybe I'm inferring too much, but it very much strikes me as if Deck 9 had ambitions to do that the whole way through this entire segment, but they just didn't quite have the resources to pull it off. But otherwise, I realized that I probably should have led by saying this. I am hooked on this game. I am totally in on seeing just how Alex Chen's adventure concludes. I won't delve into some of the deeper plot twists and spoilers that I've been able to experience thus far. So if you out there have been interested in checking out this game, I can give it my wholehearted, cozy seal of approval. When I predicted what the Game Awards Game of the Year nominees would be ahead of the nominees actually being unveiled, I put this on as one of the candidates. It did not end up being one of those 6 games, and I think I agree with that, but I'm still all for this game.
I actually want to pivot into that, and I think that's where we can wrap things up. We won't get into full Game of the Year Game Awards predictions stuff. We'll save that for next week. We'll have Alex.
I was say that would be good next week talk.
Yeah, we'll do that next week. But what I want to do to wrap up this week is we've been talking about Life is Strange, talking about Ratchet, Halo, Forza. Let's talk briefly about those nominees. If we think they're all fantastic games. They all rightfully deserve to be there. But it was brought up in our chat that does Metroid Dread deserve to be talked about in the same echelon as these games? And as someone who's beaten that game, absolutely, 100%. Metroid Dread is one of the best 2D platformers I think I've ever played, and it does so much with that game. The freaking Emmy sections where you're being chased by a robot suck, and it's the only reason why it's probably not in my personal Game of the Year contention, but I can appreciate everything that it does. So what I want to do, we got the 4 of us here. The Game of the Year nominees from the Game Awards are Deathloop from Arcane Studios, Bethesda, It Takes Two from Hazelight Studios, EA, Metroid Dread from Mercury Steam and Nintendo, Psychonauts 2, Double Fine, Xbox Game Studios, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Insomniac Games, SIE, and Resident Evil Village, Capcom. What's y'all's prediction for who's going to take home the Game of the Year at their Game Awards? Court, you're our guest, please.
Ratchet & Clank. That's my vote, and I've only played that and Psychonauts 2 out of everything that's up there. So out of the 2 of those games that I played, I'm going to go Ratchet & Clank.
You know what?
But my Game of the Year didn't get nominated, so it is what it is.
Neither did mine. Nathan, what are you thinking?
Well, Forza is not on the list. Before I make my prediction, I'm going to say Game of the Year should do what the Oscars does and expand to 10 games. Because for the best movie, Oscars move to 10 slots because they know there's genre films that should probably be nominated. Anyways, so regardless, I haven't played it, but I assume Deathloop's going to win. I think it's likely to be the candidate in the buzz. It came out in September. It's going to have that recency bias. It Takes-Two was at the beginning of the year. Metroid Dread was great for people who played it, but if you didn't play it, I don't think you're going to have that connection. Psychonauts 2 is a good game, but it's not a great game because of the combat. People liked Ratchet and Clank, but thought it was soft on story, which Cozy has reiterated. And I don't understand how Resident Evil Village is on the list. Once again, it's not a game I played. I don't play the Spookies, but it was getting 8s. It's not like a game people were talking about as like a game of the year candidate when it came out.
Yeah, for me, the surprise omissions here that I expected in place of Resident Evil Village and maybe Deathloop, honestly, or Psychonauts. I don't know. There's so many good games that came out this year. The fact that we know there are games that got left off this that shouldn't have been just goes to show what a great year this was for games. All things considered, pandemic and everything, and release schedules all getting screwed up. Where's Returnal and where's Forza? Sorry.
Yeah, like they're both
well deserving of this.
Forza is my game of the year, like by far. And I haven't played Halo, so
none of us have.
But good point.
I hope
I have
if you have, blink twice.
I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't played it. But I have a funny feeling Halo. I can't pick game of the year. Like we were talking about it, and we were gonna do something, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wait till January. We're gonna wait, and we'll do Xbox game of the year. Get something you can play on the Xbox instead of saying, because if I'm only going games that I can play on a certain console, then like I thought the story for Far Cry 6 was the best story game I played this year by like a long shot. The story in Far Cry 6, unfortunately, it's still a Far Cry game, so you still have all that other stuff that comes in and gets convoluted with it and makes you do other things. The story for Far Cry 6 is a must play. If anybody likes a single player adventure game, go out and play that game. It's probably $40 right now. It's Black Friday.
One is another one of those holiday games where it's sitting there waiting for me to boot it up, and I'm going to over those days I have off.
Story is
unbelievable. Wait for those days.
It's the first Far Cry game, and we've talked about it, that I gave a rat's poop about any of the side characters. Your character itself, Danny, becomes more prominent, and you actually care about your main character, and it's not just the villain that you give a crap about in a Far Cry game. Everything about this game was phenomenal.
Football is life.
Cozy, out of these 6 games, what do you think is getting the game of the year at the Game Awards?
So, Mitch, earlier in the podcast, you alluded to the fact that I'm trying to play as many of these candidates as possible for the end of the year. That's going to be impossible, but thanks to a little event happening in the States right now called American Thanksgiving, there are a lot of Black Friday sales going on, and it's thanks to those Black Friday sales that I was able to nab really good deals on both Deathloop and Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which I got for about, I think, $40 and $45 Canadian respectively. I believe that
I was looking at Deathloop at 45. I'm like, can I do this? I'm like,
it's coming to Game Pass next year.
That's what's making me hold off. But sorry, Cozy, please continue.
If you live in Canada, go check out Best Buy Canada, because those deals may very well still be up if they still have.
Forget Best Buy. Go follow L Babbins on Twitter if you haven't already. The stuff he puts out is just out of this world.
Check his Discord out too.
In any case, while I was deciding what I wanted to get via Black Friday sales, because, I wasn't going to buy every single discounted game under the sun, I actually went through...
That's the guy who wanted to spend $1,000 on Vita games. But yeah, whatever.
Tabulated how many awards each game that was nominated for a Game of the Year nomination received. And I went ahead and I actually included a couple of other games in here too. So Metroid got a total of 2. It was nominated for Game of the Year and I think like best like action adventure game.
It's family game, right?
No,
AKA the Nintendo category. No,
it was not nominated for that.
I joke because that usually just ends up being the Nintendo category.
Yeah,
it was all but one.
The Artful Escape.
It Takes Two was the other one, right? Mm-hmm. Which is weird in family, but I'm gonna play through that with my wife over the break as well, and I think we're both probably.
The Artful Escape was one of my favorite games this year. It's beautiful. It is a must play.
I started it, and Yeah.
Did not receive a Game of the Year nomination, but nevertheless received 3 awards across various other Game of the Year awards. Life is Strange got 3. Returnal got 3, but alas did not receive a Game of the Year nomination. Resident Evil Village, despite everyone kind of being kind of iffy on that game, actually got 4. Marvelous Guardians of the Galaxy, Mitch, you'll be pleased to know, got 4. It Takes Two got 5. Psychonauts 2 got 5. Ratchet got 6, and Deathloop got 8. All that to say, all that preamble to lead up to the fact that I think that Deathloop is going to clinch it just solely on the fact that it has the numbers to back it up when it comes to the sheer number of nominations. I would like to imagine a scenario in which if Deathloop does not get it, who knows, maybe Metroid might come in like the dark horse that it is and nab it, but obviously that's, very fanciful thinking on my part.
Yeah, I think with me with my pick, I want to agree with Court with Ratchet, but the Game Awards always does something weird and it always ends up being something out of left field. I think It Takes Two will take this home. Just all the positive buzz that game has gotten. I think it's more accessible now than ever thanks to EA Play through Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. I think enough people are going to play it between now and the awards that it's...
I haven't played it yet, and I'm an Xbox guy. Because I have no one to play it with.
I'm going to play with my wife. I now have 4 Xbox controllers, which I definitely don't need. So I'm going to move the Series X up to that TV, and that's going to be one of those things. We both have some days off, and it's going to be something special.
I will say, you all...
Then again, I bought 2 in the last week and a half, so...
Same. I'm going to ask for the Forza one for Christmas. I got that, boy. I
bought the Forza one and decided when this one got announced and there was a pricing error on it that I didn't need the Forza one. So I sold it to a friend for face value.
You guys were definitely correct when you stated earlier that something like Metroid Dread definitely did not perhaps have the same level of reach as something like a Ratchet and Clank or an It Takes Two. One thing I will say about Metroid Dread is that I feel like it's one of the few games on this list where I feel like the conversation surrounding that game post its release has only improved. I think that we're very used to a big, meaty AAA game coming out, it being utterly acclaimed and beloved upon its release, and then in the days and weeks and months following its release, people's opinions on the game quiet down a little bit, and op-eds get written about the little niggling issues that people had with them. Metroid Dread is the only one where I feel like every single time I hear about it, it's about some cool new thing that people have discovered about the game, be it the language, which they're kind of slowly chipping away at, be it the cool little environmental details, like people have noticed, for example, that the elevator that Samus Aran travels downwards at the very beginning of the game can actually be observed in the environments in that game. But I do agree that it's going to definitely be an uphill battle for that particular game to win again, just because of its reach.
The thing is, I think 90% of this, it's 90% right, that comes down to critics. 10% is fan vote.
Yeah.
The fan vote's not going to move the needle. Critics absolutely adored It Takes Two, and Deathloop, and Ratchet, and Metroid, and Psychonauts. I think so it's anybody's game.
And they'll want to give it to a Microsoft. Let's be honest here. You got 3 Microsoft studios in there, right?
You do, and maybe that big, maybe there is big Elden Ring energy at the award show or something. Who knows? But we'll have to wait until December 9th to find out. And you'll have to wait for our live stream reacting to that show on that very night, and you'll have to wait until next week to hear our full predictions for what we think might come to the Game Awards. But for now, that's going to do it for episode 92 of Press YYZ. If you enjoyed this, which I hope you did, honestly, we do this because we want you to have a good time, because we try to have a good time doing it. If you enjoyed it at all, if you're on Twitch, hit the follow, hit the bell, know when we go live with gameplay streams on Tuesday and Thursday, podcast on Wednesdays, other shenanigans whenever. If you're on Twitter, a follow at Press YYZ means a heck of a lot. YouTube.com/PressYYZ. Subscriptions there mean a heck of a lot to us. Every single one of you is a beautiful human being. Thank you so much for being here, for supporting this crazy thing we do. Links to everything will also be in bios and all those things that you find on your podcast service of choice. Cool. But until next time, Court, thank you for being with us. And
thank you for having me.
Thanks for playing.
Later, guys.